Hi, clicked on today's tropical update for uh, August 24th, 2017. Welcome back, everyone. We're back for another update on what is supposed to be Hurricane Harvey. This thing really intensified. Like literally, last night it was probably a depression. It was probably a tropical depression last night, or a minimal tropical storm. And went from that all the way up to today into a Category 1 hurricane. This thing really intensified. I'm really surprised. Harvey actually became a lot stronger than what was previously predicted by the forecasters and the computer models. Yeah. So now we're dealing with a Category 1 hurricane, and this thing could potentially become a major hurricane. That's what the NHC is saying, according to a lot of forecasters, as you can see here. It has a potential to become a hurricane. And notice on the water vapor satellite loop, as you can see here, notice the outflow really starting to expand around the storm. It's more of a circular storm. Now notice the outflow is starting to come out in all directions from the northwestern semicircle, coming around like that, just like that, and really there's a lot of energy really starting to kick in, and it could be an eye trying to develop over here in the center, as you can see here. In the upper trough that was like up here shearing it is no longer there. It means that this thing has no wind shear. The way that the outflow is coming out like that, it means that there's no wind shear, and this is pretty good for intensification. And water temperatures are they're really warm. Check these out. 31 degrees Celsius water temperatures. Incredibly warm water. This is extremely warm water. This thing could really intensify quickly. As you can see here, really warm water. You can see the outflow, as I said before. The outflow is really starting to come out of the storm very well. And notice the outflow in all directions, as you can see here, indicating that there's no wind shear tearing the system apart of the storm. And there's no dry air. Dry air is no longer an issue with the storm. No wind shear. The environment is conducive, very supportive for intensification, especially with the extremely warm water in the Gulf of Mexico, in the western part of the Gulf of Mexico, as you can see here. Now, notice that on the satellite loop, notice that the eye is really starting. Look at all the thunderstorm activity near the eye wall. It's really starting to, at the last frame over here, notice that it's starting to form an eye over here. Let me pause it. Let me go here. Notice this last frame. It's actually developing an eye. You can see a sort of a circle in here. This is an eye trying to develop, and the way that it's going, this is indicating the type of intensification we're going to get. This is really going to rapidly intensify, as you can see here. And the stronger this thing is, actually, the more dangerous this thing will be by the time it hits the coastline, because the way that we were forecast to become a Category 2 is no longer on the table. It's actually going to be stronger than a Cat 2. It's actually forecasted to become a Category 3 at landfall, as you can see here. As you can see the eye really trying to develop. As you can see here, boom. As you can see here, the watches and notice the yellows. All the yellows are flood warnings in effect. All these are flash flood warnings in effect, because this system's going to dump incredibly amount of rain just after landfall. It's going to stall out over here according to the models. Notice all the models are indicating right at Corpus Christi, which is right in the bullseye. Really bad situation for them. And storm surge warnings are issued from the NHC for the very first time this year. And that's new from the National Hurricane Center. That's actually new for this year. Storm surge warnings and watches are going to be used now. And that's new from the NHC. And they're using it for the very first time, especially with the storm, because we could see water rises probably 5 to 7 feet in the large area of these places. In the eastern semicircle of the storm, we could be seeing storm surge up to 7 or 8 feet. Like, literally. This is a dangerous situation. And the rainfall totals could top out 20 inches in some areas, or up to 25 plus in localized areas where I'm circling over here. This could be a dangerous situation, and the way that's going to stall out, that's even dangerous. This is a really bad situation for these dudes over here, that they're going to be dealing with a Category 3 landfall. If this pans out, if this makes a hurricane landfall as a Category 3, it's already going to be a major hurricane by then. But if it makes a landfall as a major hurricane, Cat 3 or higher, then this could be the first hurricane landfall since Hurricane Wilma back in 2005, as you can see here. Back in 2005, as you can see here. Notice the cone from the National Hurricane Center. The reds is hurricane warnings. The blues is tropical storm warnings. It extends out all the way out to Galveston, Texas. In some areas, hurricane watches are in effect for parts of the southern tip of Texas. It actually extends out to Brownsville, Texas, which is interesting. And a tropical storm warning and a hurricane watch has been issued for Brownsville, Texas, areas near Brownsville, Texas, and a tropical storm watch for the northeastern part of Mexico. As you can see here, this is a dangerous situation. The M is major hurricane status. This has a potential to become one of those high category hurricanes, one of those hurricane landfalls where it's going to be devastating. And Texas, the last time it got hit by a hurricane was back in 2008 when Hurricane Ike striked Galveston, Texas. This is really a situation that a lot of people gotta be aware of. This is a very dangerous situation, as you can see here. You notice that almost all of the models, a category 2, even a category 3, 24 hours from now, this is about a day from now, a category 3, even a category 4, as some models do. A Cat 4 is possible, as you can see here. Then it really drops down in intensity because the land reactions, you're going to lose a lot of that energy. But the way that this intensity is going, this could be a dangerous situation. More wind danger, more water danger, more rain issues. We're going to have more rain in a lot of these areas, and potentially a lot of street flooding in these areas. This is a dangerous situation, folks. This is not something to play with. This is one of those situations where we're going to be seeing a lot, but a lot of we could be seeing a lot of damage in most cases. Notice this is a Cat 2 from the GFS. I don't think it could be stronger. This is forecast to be stronger than Cat 2. Like, here's why. The ridge over here is actually going to be building in as soon as it makes landfall. And the second ridge over Florida is actually going to bring it towards the coast because of that outflow. And as soon as it stalls, because there's going to be a weak current because of that, so it's going to be very weak conditions, very weak steering currents by the time it makes landfall. And then after that, could be lingering, and probably, yeah, this is one of those situations where you got to keep an eye on stuff.